Hello and welcome to Understanding and Navigating Through the Education and Financial Aid Process. Let's go ahead and get started, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, so there are many colleges that cater to the specific needs of individuals, including challenging work schedules, and we know how that can be sometimes, especially when we work. Which one is right for you? In this seminar, we will learn the importance of having a secondary education or skill and the benefits of education and the processes involved in paying for school through financial aid, grants, and scholarships. Just a quick disclosure that the information in these slides are general information and not a promise of perfection or cure to a person's situation. Here's information about who I am and my experience and qualifications. Feel free to pause the feed to read about me. So let's go ahead and dive in and get started. Secondary education is your typical high school diploma or GED. In today's society, you need more than a high school diploma or GED to earn a fairly decent amount of money. The post-secondary education refers to those whose highest level of education is an apprenticeship, a trade, or certificate, or diploma. These schools are typically where skills are taught. Your undergraduate schools refer to a four-year degree program, generally offers a bachelor's degree. College may not be for everyone, but it's becoming increasingly necessary to learn skills and trades in order to continue to survive and thrive today. Postgraduate education refers to a course of study taken after completing an undergraduate degree. These are typically your master's programs, your postgraduate certificates, your PhDs, and doctorates. Having multiple skills and continuing to develop these skills and obtain new ones will keep you marketable and able to survive if one skill becomes obsolete. This was taught in the Brown's four-pocket theory in a prior seminar, but I'll just run over that real quick just so you understand what that is. So the four-pocket theory was created by Larry A. Brown to explain the importance of developing methods, solutions, and best practices for financial survival by being prepared for foreseen or unforeseen obstacles. So case in point, imagine if you only have one skill and that skill becomes obsolete or your job is being replaced or restructured, or worse, shut down. How will you continue to survive and pay your bills? So it's important that we continue to develop ourselves and make creative ways to earn money and be less vulnerable in today's times. Some millionaires and billionaires do not or did not have a college education, but just understand that that's not the norm. Those with higher educations realize that they have a better chance at employment opportunities at higher income levels than those who do not. So Larry Brown breaks his theory down into multiple pockets within the four pockets. However, to consolidate that, he discussed in his theory, there's two pockets in the front and there's two pockets in the back, as if you're wearing a pair of jeans. That's what jeans there for. The immediate pockets in the front are easy to access. This is where the back pockets are there also to support the front pockets and offer more of a long-term strategy. And that brings us to developing multiple income streams. So in pocket one, this covers your current income streams or employment. So remember, having one skill is not enough today. You should have more to fall back on. And we'll discuss that in the third pocket. However, income generated from this pocket generally comes from your education, your mastery of skills, your certifications, your licenses, and your experience. The second pocket is your short-term assets. An example of short-term assets would be your savings account. These accounts usually do not earn much interest because they are usually easily accessible to the consumer. In times of uncertainty, it's more important than ever to have a savings account to back up your main pocket or your first pocket until you're able to replenish the pocket with another job, another skill, or another trade. So to get started with this, one must open up, of course, a savings account at your local bank. Each time you get paid, just put 10% in your of your net income into your savings account. And you know what? If you can't afford to do that high, start off with 5 or whatever you can afford. But the important thing is to remember to put something in your savings account every time you get paid. Building a short-term savings account may take several months, and that is okay because we know Rome wasn't built in a day. Just be persistent and continue to build this asset. When there is an economic downturn in society, you will have a pocket to fall back on if something happens to your current employment until you're able to get another job or obtain another skill. So we're talking about the third pockets and the fourth pocket. So on the third pocket is continuous development, experience, education, skills, and certifications. These are great ways to begin to cover the third pocket. It works beautifully with pocket 1. If you are interviewing for a job and someone has a high school diploma and 5 years of experience, and you have 2 years of experience with a certification and associate's degree, you have a good chance at favor at the interview. The more you have to fill this pocket, the better your chances at getting the job you interview for, or if self-employed, the customer base you're looking for to achieve. For self-employed individuals, I will use truck drivers, for example. If you are trying to build your client, your customer base, the more skills and licenses you have to offer, the more your customers or clients will trust you handling services for them. This works well for attorneys, doctors, small business owners, etc. After all, you wouldn't want to hire an attorney that didn't have a license in your state, or perhaps it's more attractive to see a doctor who may be board certified. This is an important thing to note, is that when one skill or trade becomes obsolete, you can continue to survive utilizing another skill to survive. So the fourth and final pocket is your long-term assets. This pocket should be filled with things such as rental properties, retirement assets, 401ks, IRAs, other plans, long-term stocks, long-term financial instruments, and businesses such as purchasing franchises, starting a business and growing it, etc. Long-term assets take many years to mature. However, it's important that you get started as soon as humanly possible. Many jobs offer retirement plans. You should capitalize on these plans and maximize the match portion. For example, if your job will match 4%, then you need to make sure you put in 4%. Otherwise, you'll be leaving money on the table and giving it back to your employer. Long-term assets can also be used to borrow from yourself in times when you need an emergency loan. You pay yourself back with interest. This is your money. This should always be a very last resort and not the first option. Utilize your short-term assets first before considering borrowing from those long-term assets. So the higher your education, the higher your earning potential, marketability, and opportunity for advancement, if that is what you're looking for. Here are some benefits to post-secondary, undergraduate, and graduate education. So increase access to job opportunities, preparation for a specialized career, increase marketability, increase earning potential, economic stability, networking opportunities. You can meet different people in different areas, learn more about your job that you're in through your networking opportunities, advancement opportunities, personal growth, and improved self-esteem. These things can happen with just having higher education, higher job satisfaction, positive return on investment. And that's always important, especially when there's economic downturns. There are 3 types of colleges that are most popular. There are brick and mortar colleges, which means they have a physical building to teach their students. Online universities, they do not have a physical facility to teach their students. All teaching is done online. And then there's a combination of both. You have some colleges that offer more flexibility by way of students learning in class as well as being able to learn online, especially if you have a very challenging work schedule. Trades can be extremely beneficial. Depending on the trade and the demand for that trade, this can be a very lucrative way to earn income. It can also create a path for self-employment and a great return on investment. Having a trade to complement a college education and a high school diploma is maximizing your earning potential and ensuring that you would be able to survive in multiple types of economic environments. For example, technical and analytical skills and trades are in high demand in corporations. These types of skill sets pay top dollar to obtain and retain talent. No degrees necessary at this point for many of these specialized skill sets, such as analysts, ISD, and cybersecurity. Just remember, our economic environment is constantly changing, and one skill in demand today may be gone tomorrow. But your college education will never be obsolete, and you can use that education along with skills and trades to be ready for any type of downturn like that. This is higher level knowledge and skills that builds a better understanding of the intricate pieces that fit into a specific focus and program. The classes taught for skills and trades, it allows for a broader perspective of a subject to allow your brain to navigate through areas where not previously known with just a secondary education. And this also goes for colleges. I mean, colleges, you may have to take some classes that you would say, why am I taking these classes? This has nothing to do with my career. But this gives you a broader perspective of what's going on. Trades do the same thing when you're in online colleges or online trade skill schools that teach you these trades. They're going to give you a broad perspective of that trade. They may consolidate it more than a college. So you definitely have to be ready for that, because they will consolidate things to make sure they can get everything in within maybe a 6 to 9 month period, depending on how long that trade school is. But it's important to hone in and get those skills and those trades and those licenses and those certifications so that you can be ready and to maximize your income and your earning potential. So there are several ways that you can pay for education after high school. As you may say, well, how in the world am I going to afford this? How can I pay for this, all this stuff? Of course, you know, there's the good old fashioned cash, and then there's grants. There's employers. There's a lot of employers that will pay for your education and your enhancing your skill set and your development. Scholarships. There are lots of scholarships out there, thousands of scholarships out there. And then, of course, you have financial aid, which are your Pell Grants, your federal grants, your state grants, and student loans. So let's talk about navigating through that financial aid process. So you will need several items when you start this financial aid process. So documents and other items needed. You need to know if you are a dependent student or independent student. We'll talk about that in another slide. Have a copy of your tax return and your parents' tax return available. Know your schools of interest and their school code. Did you apply, and were you accepted? Know your dates to begin your application. October the 1st is the first day you can complete your FAFSA. Once you have the above, then you can go to studentaid.gov, apply for your FAFSA. And that's the website address here on the screen. So dependent student versus independent student. If you're a dependent student, you have to report information from both you and your parents. If you're an independent student, you only have to report your own information and your spouse's if you're married. So you might say, well, how do I classify myself as an independent student? Well, this list here, 1 to 10, if you can answer yes to one of these, then you would be classified as an independent student. If you answer no to all of these, then you would be a dependent student, and therefore you would need your parents' tax return. One or the other. You don't need both. If your parents are both together, of course, you just use the one tax return. If they are not together, then you can use your dad's tax return or your mom's tax return. So before you apply, what you want to do is you want to talk to your school counselor. Your high school counselor can discuss college payment, and they're a good source throughout the financial aid process. So definitely you want to talk to them first. Read through the FAFSA on the web, FAFSA.gov. The worksheet allows you to find answers to common questions and about the free application. So please, it's important, visit the FAFSA.gov. Compile your financial information. So you want to gather all of the information like we just discussed in previous slides. You want to gather information from the previous year, such as your tax returns, your W-2s, and that includes you as the student, because even if you only worked a few part-time gigs throughout the year, if you've done your tax return, then you want to go ahead and make sure you have that available, because you'll need to provide that information on your FAFSA as well. So the application process for the FAFSA. So the first thing you want to do is you want to complete the free application for federal student aid, which is called the FAFSA application. The FAFSA should be completed as soon as possible on or after October 1st of the year before you plan to start school. So for this year, you want to go ahead and complete it October 1st, and it's going to be for the following school year, which is generally starts in August of the following year. You can mail your FAFSA form in, or you can apply it on, or you can apply online. So look for the confirmation known as the Student Aid Report, or the SAR. SAR. Upon submitting your FAFSA, you will receive your SAR notifying you that of your eligibility and reflecting all the information that you included on your FAFSA. So make sure you get that. Your SAR should arrive within three days to 3 weeks. So if you don't receive it within 3 weeks, you definitely want to contact the FAFSA customer service to see what's going on. You want to thoroughly review your SAR. So read all the instructions and make sure your data is correct, because this is what's going to be going to the school. And if things are wrong, you need to go ahead and make sure those get corrected. Call if you do not receive that information, like I said earlier. You can check the status of your application on the FAFSA website, but if you have not received your SAR after 5 weeks, you want to contact the U.S. Department of Education. Look for verification forms from colleges to which you applied. So the U.S. Department of Education, they send information to all schools that you listed on your FAFSA. Once your school receives it, they will send you a financial aid form via email, postal mail, to talk about the different programs, the awards you're eligible for. And if you have not applied for their school yet and gotten accepted, they're probably going to send you a letter saying, hey, here's information on how you need to apply for our university or our college and to get accepted. Call the schools you listed on your FAFSA if you do not receive verification forms from the school. So if there's a school that you're really interested in and you know you put it on the FAFSA for them to receive information and they have not contacted you, then go ahead and contact them. Be proactive. Some questions, just a quick tip, some questions on your FAFSA application may not necessarily correspond to your tax return. So for instance, some examples might include marital status, dependents, etc. Because you, on your current tax return, you may list that you were single, but then the following year, before you started school, you got married. So things will change a little bit. This is information that the school may talk to you about and want to get corrected with a different form that they use. So be aware of that just in case that happens. So when we choose your financial aid package, many schools will have a process to do much of these tasks online. So you want to check with your financial advisor for details for that particular school. So you want to compare the financial aid packages. Does one school give you a better financial aid package than another? Is that school in your list of choices? And what does the package cover? Make sure you thoroughly look at those packages. Pick the college you would like to attend. So choose the school that meets your financial and academic needs. fill out the financial aid verification forms of the school you'd like to attend. So you don't want to fill them out for all of them, but you know, if you're still undecided on a couple of them, just fill them out. It's better to be proactive than wait to the last minute and then you're not able to get the benefit of having some of the money there, because believe me, the money do run out. So you want to, it's first come, first serve. So you want to make sure you're there to get that money if you need the financial aid. Submit the completed financial aid verification forms to your school of choice. Return the financial aid form to its corresponding school as soon as possible. Like I said, first come, first serve with the money. Some schools have their own scholarships, so it's definitely wise to make sure you get that in as soon as possible. So this particular website offers a step-by-step visual of completing the FAFSA. It's very good. I did go through it and check it out. Basically what you would do is do a Google search and search steps for completing the FAFSA, then scroll down to FAFSA walkthrough with Khan University. Very helpful video, step by step. So I definitely encourage you to research that and find that particular site. So remember to only borrow what you need if you need to apply for student loans. After you finish completing the FAFSA and you see that maybe you don't have enough aid for the school that you want to attend and you need additional funds, then you have to go to the student loan website. I will stress again, remember to only borrow what you need, because you do have to pay these loans back 6 months after you graduate from college. And this is explained in the entrance counseling documents. So if you do need to borrow student loans, then you would go to the studentloans.gov site to go ahead and complete the student loan application. Now you have to do the FAFSA first. Once you do the FAFSA first, then you go to the studentloan.gov. That information from FAFSA will, some of it will merge over into the studentloan.gov site as well, so that things can autofill for you. But you have to do the FAFSA first, and then you would apply for the student loan. So you complete the annual student loan acknowledgement after you do your application for student loans, then you complete your entrance counseling, and then you complete the mastery promissory note. All of these steps have to be completed before you're considered for the loan. So make sure you complete all 4 of those steps. And if you don't complete it, most of the time, your counselor at your school may nudge you and say, hey, you need to do this. So here's the next step. We need to complete this before we give you a package and show you what you qualify for. So in conclusion, with the education and financial aid process, the higher your education, the higher your earning potential, marketability, and ability for advancement. The more skills you have, the more marketable you are. I can't stress that enough. Continue to develop yourself. Don't let the financial aid process scare you. It can be very scary because there's a lot of steps. There's a lot to know. There's a lot of information and documents you have to provide. Don't let it scare you. It's beneficial to see if you qualify for free money. So definitely take the time to do that. Understand the documents required. Speak to your guidance counselor for assistance. They are there to help, and they are very willing to help you. I would like to thank you for tuning in and listening to Navigating and Understanding the Financial Aid Process. I hope this seminar was helpful and you're able to utilize the methodologies and information presented. As a quick note, Everyday Daily Real Adult Nonprofit Learning Organization conducts several other seminars for the everyday adult, navigating through life's challenges and processes. Please reach out to me via phone or chat if you would like additional information. Our organization is a nonprofit, and your contribution will allow us to continue to provide free education to our young adults and local communities, as well as be utilized to provide educational material and information to young adults all over as they navigate through their learning and development process within the T.E.D.R.A nonprofit learning organization. Please visit our website for additional information about our organization and our mission, as well as learn information about our teacher and board of directors. That concludes the seminar on the education and financial aid process. If you have any questions, feel free to email your questions to T.E.D.R.A. Brown at TEDRAnonprofitlearning.org. Thank you so much for attending and have a good day.